Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the International Conference on Icobar and Fidi Joint Scientific Forum 2025. It is our honor to officially welcome you to this year's conference. The International Conference on Biospheric Harmony, Icobar, is an annual scientific forum initiated by Bina Nusantara University to foster research and collaboration on sustainability and environmental resilience. And its 7th edition this year, Icobar, takes on a new dimension. Hosted by Bina Nusantara University in collaboration with the Ikatan Ilmuwan Indonesia International or I4, and presented as a joint forum with the Indonesian Diaspora Scientific Forum, Fidi.
This year, our theme is Global Synergy for a Sustainable Future. It reflects our shared commitment to taking pressing environmental and societal challenges through collaboration, innovation, and science that creates real impact. As this conference takes place in the month of Indonesia's Independence Day, let us also carry the spirit of freedom, resilience, and unity that our nation has upheld since 1945. A spirit that inspires us to work together globally for sustainability and harmony. Over the next 2 days, we will engage in discussions, explore new research, and build connections that cross disciplines and borders. This forum embodies our belief that research must be ethical, responsible, transformative, not only in academia, but in society, policy, and the environment. May this gathering inspire each of us to contribute ideas that grow into lasting partnerships and solutions for a better future. We extend our greatest gratitude to our sponsor, Atoy Hotel, and our media partner, Tirto ID, for their generous support. We are pleased to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished VIPs, academic leaders, researchers, and industry partners.
It is our honor to extend our warmest welcome to our distinguished guests, Mr. George Wijaya Hari Puspito, MSc, as the Vice President of BINUS Higher Education and Professional Services.
The Vice Rector of Research and Technology Transfer, Professor Juneman Abraham. The Chairman of the Indonesian International Scientists Association, I4, Dr. Fatwa Firdaus Abdi. We are deeply grateful for your presence today, and we warmly welcome you to this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, we kindly invite you to rise as we begin this event with a prayer. We would like to invite Mr. Anzaluddin Samsinga to lead us in prayer.
Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues and participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us pray together. I will lead the prayer in Islamic. For others, please feel free to pray in your own beliefs. A'udzu billahi minas syaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Ya Allah, ya Jami, we thank you for bringing us together for the Icobar Fidi Joint Scientific Forum 2025. May this event be a blessing, strengthening collaboration among researchers and inspiring meaningful solutions to environmental issues and the social challenges of our time. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, may the collaboration between BINUS and I4 grow stronger, guided by mutual trust, and may this partnership bring meaningful contribution for the prosperity of Indonesia. Ya Allah, Ya Rahim, guide our minds and our hearts in this forum. Grant us wisdom and clarity in our discussion, a spirit of unity and fairness in our collaboration, and respect for one another's contribution. Ya Allah, Ya Alim, may our time together be fruitful, our ideas impactful, and our efforts rewarded with success. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To Mr. Anzaluddin Samsinga, please return to yours. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep standing up for the national anthem of Indonesia, followed by the hymn of Bina Nusantara University.
be seated. It is our pleasure to begin the opening segment. To start, please welcome the Chair of Icobar 2025, Mrs. Hilda Farida, SP MSc, for her opening remarks. To Mrs. Hilda, the floor is yours.
Good morning, our beloved brother and sister, and all of our participants of Icobar 2025. Give applause together for us. All right, to the Honorable, our Vice President of BINUS Higher Education and Professional Services, Mr. George Wijaya Hadi Puspito. Our Rector of Bina Nusantara University, Dr. Nelly, to the Honorable of our Vice Rector of Research and Technology Transfer, Professor Dr. Juman Abraham, and to the Honorable of our distinguished keynote speakers and presenter of the Icobar of 2025, and to the Honorable of our Chair of I4, Ikatan Alumni Indonesia Internasional. Welcome to our 2025 of Icobar. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hilda. I am as the chair of Icobar 2025. On behalf of the entire Icobar committee, allow me to give or deliver this opening speech this morning. It is with great pleasure and honor that I welcome all distinguished guests, our esteemed colleagues, and participants to the 7th of International Conference of Biospheric Harmony, Icobar, held this year in proud of collaboration with the Ikatan Alumni Indonesia Internasional, I4, under the auspice of the Forum Ilmiah Diaspora Indonesia, Fidi. This marks a special milestone in Icobar's journey as for the first time. Fidi is partnering with a university, BINUS University, following its previous collaboration with National Research Institution or BRIN. The theme of this year's joint program, Global Synergy for a Sustainable Future, reflects our shared determination to address pressing environmental and societal challenges through interdisciplinary collaboration, innovative science, and actionable solutions. Over our next 2 days, we will engage in dynamic discussion, explore cutting-edge research, and forge new connection that trans geographical and disciplinary boundaries. This year, we are proud to have received 787 submissions from 5 countries. Give applause for all of us. It increased 20% than last year's Icobar submission paper. We have 5 countries applicants. The first one is Malaysia, Japan, India, Taiwan, and of course Indonesia. From these submissions, we have 276 papers have been accepted for presentation, with 146 to be presented on site. So we have our paper presentation author that will present today. More than 100 people, more than 100 authors will present the paper of Icobar 2025. And we have 130 authors that will present their paper in online tomorrow in BINUS Mall Alam Sutra. All which involve 746 we have 746 authors in total. All accepted papers will be submitted for publication. Maybe some of you wondering where will we publish our paper. We will publish our paper in Springer and IGI Global Book Series. We have Pak Ismail as well here, our committee from IGI. Welcome, Pak Ismail. Providing international visibility to the contribution shared in this forum. We are also grateful for the dedication of 161 our reviewers. Thank you so much for our all reviewers from 10 countries, including Korea, Canada, Thailand, Nigeria, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia, and of course our nation, Indonesia, whose expertise ensure the quality of the conference proceeding. I would like to express my deepest appreciation, of course, to all the organizing and scientific committees, both from BINUS University and I4, Ikatan Alumni Indonesia International, and all the paper reviewers. Maybe we have some of reviewers that attend our this morning opening ceremony. And of course, Bina Nusantara University, and our dedicated volunteers. Mr. George, we have our student volunteers here, more than 30 volunteers, our student. We try to empower them, and one of our MC is our student. Yeah. We would like to express our deepest appreciation and thank you to all the participants as well that already attend this morning opening ceremony. Thank you again for your commitment to knowledge exchange and collaboration. May this event serve as a space where ideas flourish, our partnership grow, and collective action is inspired. I wish you an engaging, productive, and a memorable Icobar and Fidi Joint Scientific Forum 2025. Thank you so much for your attention. Good morning.
Thank you to Mrs. Hilda for such an inspiring speech. We now invite Dr. Fatwa Firdaus Abdi as chairman from I4 to deliver his remarks. Please welcome Dr. Fatwa Firdaus Abdi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. To the honorables, our esteemed host, Mr. George Wijaya Hadipuspito, MSc MBA, Vice President, BINUS Higher Education and Professional Services. The Honorable Dr. Nelly Escom, MM CSEA, Rector of BINUS University. The Honorable Professor Dr. Junaman Abraham, Vice Rector for Research and Technology Transfer, along with the entire leadership team and our colleagues at BINUS University. A special and heartfelt thank you to BINUS for your incredible hospitality in hosting us today. To our distinguished Indonesian diaspora professors, esteemed keynote speakers, invited speakers, and colleagues from around the world, my dedicated fellow members of the I4 Indonesia leadership team and colleagues, and finally, and most importantly, all of the participants who have gathered at this conference today. Very good morning to you all. As the chair of Ikatan Ilmuwan Indonesia International, or I4, and on behalf of our entire global network, it is my greatest honor to welcome you to the opening of Icobar Fidi 2025 Joint Scientific Forum. The very essence of I4, or Ikatan Ilmuwan Indonesia International, is to connect the brilliant minds of Indonesian diaspora to the development aspirations of our nation. Our mission is to mobilize this global intellectual capital for Indonesia's progress. Therefore, our strategic partnership with BINUS University is not merely an event for us. It is the practical fulfillment of our core mandate. By bringing together the Icobar, or International Conference on Biospheric Harmony, and the Forum Ilmiah Diaspora Indonesia, or Fidi, we are creating the exact kind of synergy that we were established to foster. This is where our global network meets national capacity. Our theme for this year, which is Global Synergy for Sustainable Future, which integrates science, innovations, and sustainable action, perfectly aligns with the mission of I4, aligns with why we exist in the first place. It is a call to action that we are uniquely positioned to answer. I4's global scientists work at the forefront of international research, and we are ready to bridge their knowledge with BINUS University's exceptional leadership in applied, industry-relevant innovation. This creates a powerful ecosystem, one where we need to translate complex research into tangible solutions, scalable technologies, evidence-based policies, and community-level actions for our biosphere. So this conference is a testament to the power of that united action. It exemplifies how we can amplify Indonesia's capacity for resilience and innovation, and integrate a global perspective with local excellence. The research that we will share, and happy to know that we have more than 200 research that will be showcased, will reflect a diversity of approaches. However, all converge on the singular goal that defines both I4, BINUS, and this conference, which is to advance equitable and sustainable development through science-led strategies, which is very important in this era of misinformation. To all participants, your contributions are therefore very crucial to this mission. Let this forum be the catalyst, not just for dialogue, but also for concrete partnerships between institutions, scientists across borders, and with communities that our world desperately needs today. Finally, the path to biospheric resilience demands nothing less than this kind of global cooperation. I'm hopeful that the collaborations that will be built here will be a legacy of sustainability for the future. With that, let us make this next 2 days insightful, collaborative, and truly impactful. Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
What an inspiring message from Dr. Fatwa. Thank you once again. It is now our privilege to invite the Vice Rector of Research and Technology Transfer of BINUS University, Professor Dr. Joneman Abraham, SPSI MSI, to deliver his opening address. We give the time to Professor Joneman.
To the Honorable Ibu Dr. Nelly, Rector of BINUS University, Bapak Jos Wijaya Hadipuspito, our Vice President of BINUS Higher Education and Professional Services, Vice Rectors, Directors, Deans, and Professors, Professor Fatwa Abdi, the Chair of Ikatan Ilmuwan Indonesia International, or I4, all scientific and organizing committee members from BINUS and I4, distinguished keynote speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. When did you last hear the earth breathe? I'm not speaking metaphorically here. Our biosphere is gasping. Yet here we are, the minds that can help it breathe again. Welcome to Icobar Fidi Joint Scientific Forum 2025, a symphony of solutions. What does biospheric harmony mean when we lose 18.7 million acres of forest annually? When species disappear before we discover them. Biospheric harmony means we are nature. Human progress and environmental stewardship are dance partners, not opponents. Icobar Fidi Joint Scientific Forum transform us from observer to orchestrators, fostering and empowering the society to advocate a global synergy for a sustainable future. Every science and policy we create can heal or harm. What impact will we choose? Look around. Your neighbor might hold your breakthrough. Please don't just attend, but inhabit this conference. Let's see our contributions as seeds growing into partnerships and blooming into solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a crossroad. One path is business as usual, and the other, human ingenuity dancing with natural and social wisdom. The choice is ours, and the time is now. Welcome to the future we are creating together. Thank you.
Juneman, we truly appreciate such an inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, our next welcoming speech is from our beloved Rector of BINUS University, Dr. Nelly Escom MM CSCA. However, due to other commitment, she has prepared a video to welcome all the distinguished speakers and guests. Please join us in welcoming the video from Dr. Nelly.
Distinguished keynote speakers, fellow professors and presenters, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with a great pride that I welcome you to the Icobar and Fidi Joint Scientific Forum 2025. This year's themes, Global Synergy for a Sustainable Future, align deeply with our university vision as a world-class university, fostering and empowering the society in building and serving the nation. As we move forward our 45th anniversary milestones, BINUS University remains steadfast in its mission to educate leaders of character, advance high-impact research, and contribute to the betterment of society through innovation and collaboration. Hosting this joint forum with the Ikatan Ilmuwan Indonesia Internasional and the Forum Ilmiah Diaspora Indonesia is a testament to our commitment to building bridge between local expertise and the global scientific community. The value we uphold with striving for excellence, perseverance, integrity, respect, innovation, and teamwork are vividly reflected in the spirit of this event. Here, researchers from across the world converge to share insight, challenge assumption, and collaborate on solutions to some of the most pressing issues facing our planet. I encourage all participants to take full advantage of this opportunity to engage deeply in this discussion, to forge partnerships that endure beyond the conference, and to contribute to a body of work which will inspire change for generations to come. On behalf of BINUS University, I wish you a meaningful and enriching conference experience. May this gathering spark ideas, strengthen network, and advance our collective mission toward a sustainable and harmonious future. Thank you.
That was such an inspiring videos from our beloved rector, Dr. Nelly. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now our greatest honor to invite a truly distinguished leader to deliver the opening speech for this year's conference. Please join us in welcoming the VP of Business Higher Education and Professional Services, Mr. George Wijaya Hadipuspito, MSc, MBA, as he shares this inspiring vision for Icobar and Fidi Joint Scientific Forum. Let us give our warmest welcome and full attention to Mr. George.
Distinguished keynote speakers and panelists, Professor Fatwa Abdi, Chairman of I4 from the City University of Hong Kong, Professor Muhammad Aziz from the University of Tokyo, Professor Delphik Osyendi from University of Manchester, Professor Hendro Wicaksono from Constructor University of Bremen, and esteemed colleagues, partners, guests, and participants. Good morning. It is an honor to extend my warmest greetings to all of you on behalf of BINUS University at this year's Icobar Fidi Joint Scientific Forum 2025. We are deeply privileged to welcome such a diverse community of scholars, practitioners, and thought leaders who share a common commitment to advancing knowledge and addressing some of the most urgent challenges of our time. The theme of this year's forum, Global Synergy for a Sustainable Future, resonates strongly with our mission in higher education. Beyond preparing the next generation of leaders, universities today must also serve as catalysts for innovation and collaboration across borders. Our role is not only to nurture academic excellence, but to ensure that education and research are translated into meaningful contributions for society, industry, and the environment. This joint forum exemplifies that vision. By bringing together diaspora scientists, local researchers, policymakers, and students, we are creating a platform where diverse perspectives converge and where global knowledge is aligned with local needs. Such collaborations remind us that sustainability is not the responsibility of a single institution or nation, but a shared journey that requires unity, creativity, and perseverance. I would like to acknowledge with gratitude the tireless work of the organizing and scientific committees, our dedicated reviewers, and the many volunteers who have made this event possible. To our participants, both on-site and online, your presence here is what gives this forum its true value. I encourage each and every one of you to take this opportunity to exchange ideas, challenge assumptions, and to form partnerships that will continue to grow long after this event concludes. May this gathering inspire us all to pursue not only academic achievements, but also transformative action for a more resilient and sustainable world. Finally, I wish all of you a fruitful and memorable conference. Thank you.
Thank you for the inspiring speech from Mr. Wijaya. Please remain on stage. Following his speech, Mr. George will now lead the ceremonial gong striking 3 times to officially open Icobar and Fidi Joint Scientific Forum. He will be accompanied by Dr. Fatwa Firdaus Abdi from our distinguished partner, as well as Dr. Nelly, Professor Juneman, and Mrs. Hilda on behalf of BINUS. On the count of 3, Mr. George, please strike the gong. 1, 2, 3.
Please give a warm applause, everyone. As the Icobar Fidi Joint Scientific Forum 2025 has now officially opened, before we continue to the next session, we kindly invite our distinguished representative to remain on stage for the photo session. And to our camera crew and documentation team, we would like to invite you to capture this inspiring moment together. On the count of 3, the first one, 1, 2, and 3. Second one, 1, 2, and 3. And the third one, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. We kindly invite our distinguished representatives to return to their seats, but please remain standing. We also invite all participants to rise and join us for a group photo together with all speakers and honored guests. Please everyone stand up together.
To our camera crew and documentation team, we would like to invite you on stage to capture this inspiring moment together.
Okay. What was it? Okay. Done? Okay. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. The second one, 1, 2, and 3. The last but not least, 1, 2, and 3. Everyone, please give applause for us. Thank you, everyone. Now, please be seated. As BINUS University reaffirms its commitment to research and innovation, we are honored to present a new generation of young leaders. We are honored to invite the BINUS student research ambassadors instructed to inspire their peers and contribute to knowledge that addresses global challenges. They embody the spirit of inquiry and responsibility to a sustainable future.
In recognition of this mission, 5 students have been appointed. 3 join us on stage today, while 2 remain abroad fulfilling their academic responsibilities.
Please welcome Angie Edilia Wijaya from International Business Management Program. The second one, Jonathan Edwards Telaumbanua from Automotive and Robotics Engineering International Program. And Richka Lordesia from Civil Engineering Study Program.
And though they could not be with us today, we also honor Micheline Quinn Harley from International Business Management Program. And last but not least, Marcel Martawijaya from Industrial Engineering Study Program. To formally confer their role, we respectfully invite Professor Juneman and Mr. George to join us on stage to officially open and welcome the student research ambassadors and to participate in the group photo session.
And to our camera crew and documentation team, we would like to invite you to capture this inspiring moment together. Okay. Okay, camera crew, all set? Okay. The first one, on the count of three. Okay. Ready? On the count of three, 1, 2, and 3. The second one, 1, 2, and 3. And the last one, 1, 2, and 3. Cheers. Congratulations once again to everyone. May your leadership illuminate the path of research within BINUS University and beyond. To the invited Professor Juniman, Mr. George, and Student Research Ambassador, you may return to your seats. Thank you, Mr. George. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations. Thank you, Professor Juniman.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed to our keynote and talk show sessions, which will be guided by our esteemed moderator, Dr. Julius Denny Prabowo. Dr. Julius is a lecturer and researcher at BINUS University with expertise spanning natural language processing, cultural studies, education, and climate technology. His research focuses on low-resource neural machine translation, transfer learning, computer vision, and explainable AI. Please join us in welcoming Dr. Julius Denny Prabowo to lead our sessions.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first science talk on Icobar 2025. Today we are gathered here with distinguished speakers from diverse fields to discuss how collaboration across nation, industry, and communities can help us address one of the most pressing challenges of our time: sustainability. These issues are deeply interconnected and cannot be addressed in isolation. No single country, institution, or no single discipline can provide the complete solution. This is the spirit of our discussion today, to explore how global partnership and inclusive action can work hand in hand to shape a future that is not only sustainable, but also equitable. So let me introduce our keynote speaker today. The first keynote speaker is Professor Dr. Hendro Wicaksono. Professor Hendro is a full professor and head of the research group on data-driven industrial system at Constructor University Bremen, Germany. Please, Professor. His research focus on data-driven industry, trustworthy artificial intelligence, and sustainability, integrating digital technology into industrial application. He has led interdisciplinary projects that apply data and AI to improve industrial process and support sustainable development in manufacturing and public sector. The second speaker is Associate Professor Muhammad Aziz. Please, Prof. Aziz. Prof. Aziz is Associate Professor in University of Tokyo, Japan, specializing in sustainable energy system and advanced thermal engineering. His research address technology for energy conversion, storage, and utilization with focus on improving efficiency and supporting environmental sustainability. The third speaker is Dr. Steen Cornelis van Huis, PhD. Please, Dr. Steen. Dr. Steen is a legal scholar and lecturer in BINUS University, specializing in Indonesian law and society, access to justice, Islamic family law, and legal status of women and children in Southeast Asia. He earned his PhD in law from Leiden University on women divorce right in Indonesian Islamic courts. And the last speaker is Chitin Sundaresan, PhD. Please welcome. Dr. Chitin Sundaresan is a faculty member at BINUS University International with experience in management information system for leader and wearable technology. Grounded in advanced training from top Indian institute, he has served as postdoctoral fellow and research associate at IIT Bombay, focused on manufacturing technology, and he has published extensively in international journal. But before we continue, I will break the session to welcome our BINUS rector. Welcome, Dr. Nelly. Okay, I will continue. Before we begin, let me share our flow of our talk show today. We will start with the first keynote, and then second, third, and the last one is Dr. Chitin. And then following the talk, I will open the floor for your question in audience. And finally, we will wrap up and closing remarks. For the first speaker, please, each speaker have time 10 to 15 minutes. It's okay? Thank you. Professor Hendro, please, stage is yours.
Okay, very good morning, everyone. And, yes, first of all, I would like to thank you to the leadership of BINUS University. So, Ibu Rektor, Bu Nelly, and Bapak Vice Rector, Prof. Yunman, and also Pak George, and also a colleague and also President of I4, Mas Fatwa, and also Mbak Rizkina, and also all of the audience. Yeah, today I would like to share about my perspective on how we can address the pressing problems what we are facing in Indonesia, which is the middle income trap. Yeah. So I would like to share about how we can rethink about the industrializations, or it's called pre-industrialization, and how we can integrate sustainability and also digital transformation on that. A short introduction, I'm from University in Bremen. Here, like the location of Bremen in the north of Germany, near city of Hamburg, perhaps you know, and also near Groningen in Netherlands. And currently I lead a research group that consists of around 5 postdocs and 8 PhD researchers. So it's quite a large group with yearly we have around 40 bachelor and master students who work on their thesis and also as teaching and research assistants. And not only active in academic, we are also active in creating spin-offs. For example, currently we have 5 spin-offs in Germany that has different stage. Some of them is already in Series C. One of them actually, and most of them actually still in the pre-seed stage. So my research area, perhaps we can talk later on in the parallel section. So it's mostly in the whole life cycle of data that will be used for trustable decision making in the industrial system. So from how to make data findable and interoperable, and how to extract pattern from the data using machine learning, for example, and how to make machine learning not black box anymore, so using causal machine learning and also explainable AI, and then how the data, insight from the data can be used for optimizations and simulations. So the content of my talk can be divided into 3 parts. So I start with the challenge. What is the challenge, pressing challenge now? And then the act, yeah, the triple transformations. And at the end, and what we need. So most of the country, like the third world country, experiencing like very fast growth in the beginning, from low income to middle income. But then a lot of them actually still in the path, in the branch of path. So they don't really know how to proceed to the high income country. Some countries are successful, like South Korea, Singapore, and also Finland, but many of them actually still stuck in the middle income. So middle income, the problem is that the productivity, yeah, the output of the technology and economy is still stagnant. So the symptom of middle income trap, one of them is actually the trend of the export value, which is stagnant or sluggish. So you can see here, for example, unfortunately, Indonesia has this symptom already. We can see like this blue curve there compared to Vietnam, that's always growing over time. And then the second symptom is the low budget allocations or expenditure for R&D. So you can see here, Indonesia has around 0.3 or something of GDP spent for R&D, compared to Israel, for example, like 6%, or South Korea 5%, Germany itself, where I come from, 3.6%. So there are many symptoms that we can identify currently. So one of them is that the process of value added mostly happen outside the country. So like, for example, we export raw materials, and the process like downstream process is mostly happen outside. So that means the participations in the global value chain is quite limited. So, and we rely on the low salary or low paid labor. If in the future, for example, there is a problem, economic problem, and the salary or the income, like the pay of the labor increase, then we will lose the competition. Yeah. And also what is important here is usually the symptom is that, so we usually import something that we cannot build, for example, technologies, and export something that we cannot scale. For example, scaling means that if we have raw palm oil, yeah, we export the raw palm oil, not the processed one, yeah, like more in diversification of palm oil, for example. So now, what is the vision if we have something like that? So, in my perspective, is so-called reindustrialization. So you can see here, like the illustration, what does this industrialization mean? Industrialization doesn't mean that we need to come back to the past, yeah, like what happened with Germany or Japan or some in the past. We don't copy this, but we need to evolve. So manufacturing still in the center. Without manufacturing, we cannot process good, we cannot give value added. But we need to evolve on this manufacturing. So by integrating innovations, knowledge, especially the digital innovations, and also sustainability. So we cannot just focus on raw material supplier forever. So this reindustrialization doesn't mean that we need to go back to have a lot of factories, but redefine how we can build them. So an example in Germany, for example here. What is the strategy of the reindustrialization in Germany? So you can see digital transformations, of course, and green transformation by optimizing the use of renewable energy to track the carbon emissions, to foster the circular economy, and so on. And what is also here is important is to participate actively in the global supply chain, which is the strategy of Germany right now is to reshore again, like what they are used to offshore to Asia, then they want to reshore again, learning from the problem in the COVID period, where the supply of semiconductor were quite rare. So a lot of automotive companies in that time cannot produce, was not able to produce electronics components of automotive. And especially in Germany that they have strong SME support that also supported by the policy. Yeah? So I can give you an example later on that. Yeah, to achieve this vision, we need to have 3 or triple transformations. So we need to focus first in the sustainability. For example, like put the sustainability related topics or industry. For example, recycling, circular economy, energy transitions, so to renewable energy, for example. And the second is the collaborations. So here, the collaboration needs to be inclusive, need to be build trust among the collaborators. And also for that, we need supporting ecosystems. We need to have policy infrastructure, regulation infrastructure as well. So these 3 need to be done at the same time. We cannot separate them to achieve this reindustrialization. So, why sustainability? Sustainability is now a new competitive advantage. It's not just CSR. It's not just a side project. So, you can see the trend before that. And if a company can be ESG compliant, ESG is environment, social, and government, a term that can also represent sustainability. If company can compliant with this ESG, so it will increase also the revenue because they have access to the supply chain or the market, because like in Europe, for example, in order to get to supply something of goods to Europe, a company need to be ESG compliance, for example, and because of that, company need to innovate how they can measure the sustainability, how they can integrate and improve the sustainability. So some of the technologies or focus that currently our group also active in is, for example, that we develop together with some in a consortium DPP or Digital Product Passport. So Digital Product Passport is you can imagine that it's similar to our passport that store our informations, but in DPP here, it stores informations of product on their sustainability handling, like for example, how to recycle that product, and also the carbon footprints and so on. So if we have sustainability compliance, so that means the entry for investment, to get investment and also entry to the market, especially the Europe market, is quite high. So sustainability here is not just reducing the carbon emissions, for example, but also how to create value out of it, how to create business out of it. Here is that the third pillar here is the collaboration in innovations. The second and third actually at the same time. So you can imagine that innovation is a kind of team sport, so like football. So every player has its own role, but the same goal, to score the goal. So the same with innovation. We cannot just gather and then just do something without any role divisions. So we need to have a kind of team sport, similar to team sport roles. And also what important is the trust that the players need to have trust, yeah? And from each other, and also the player need to contribute, so co-invest or co-contribute. So this gives you a simple example of what typically is done in Germany to foster a collaboration, which is natural collaboration, so without forced by the government, for example. Here, for example, the government provide fundings for all actors in the ecosystem. The university, for example, the SMEs, and also other applied research institutions, for example. But the government gives different rate of funding or proportion of funding. For example, in our project here, we collaborate with provider of smart meters, for example, IT companies, manufacturing companies, and also other research institutes to develop AI-based industrial demand response systems. So which is actually to play around with the price of electricity in order to make, optimize or maximize the use of green electricity that based on renewable in manufacturing. You can see here like the outputs, not just publications, but also some product, like the hardware and also software. So in our small group here, we also try to build here the early ecosystems and optimize the outputs here. So when we get funding here from public funding, here from the ministry, for example, or scholarship, or even like from industry, or some of our PhD students, they bring their own funding. So if we have the funding, actually, at the beginning, we developed so-called research roadmap. Research roadmap, and we also develop a scope of our research. And if we have funding, we appointed or hire postdocs or PhD researcher or research associate, and he or she need to lead a teams of containing master students, bachelor students, and so on. And also intern. So through these collaborations, so the trust will be built, and then, the result is quite satisfying. So some spin-offs are born, for example, and also some publications have been issued or published. So of course, we also integrate the roles of innovation community, local innovation communities. Like here, Bremen startups Bridge and also Futuri. They are actually startup launchpad and also communities and also aggregators like Futuri here. So basically they give access to network. They give like consultancy in how to do business, taxes, taxings, and also and marketing stuffs and so on. So here, for example, some of the results, we have some startup that won the competitions and got the funding also, and some still like in the process of getting funding. So in the broad sense, the R&D ecosystem in Germany is actually reflect the collaborations between these different actors. So you can see this 3.6% of GDP for R&D is actually, most of them is around almost 70% is done by industry, not spent by the government, not spent by university. And therefore, you can see here at the right side, the landscape of innovations in Germany, where the role of the university here is actually in between basic and applied research. So not just basic research. So the university need to have a capability to do applied research. So there are a lot of organizations here like Max Planck that focus on the basic research, that where the Nobel Prize mostly winner from there, and Fraunhofer more applied research, and also industry. So here is that, therefore, the academic reputations and also research and also publication in Germany is not centered in the university. It's spread out through these different institutions. So therefore, perhaps you can see that the ranking of German universities is quite low, because simply that the research capacity of the whole nation is spread out through these different institutions. So what one of the enabling of these collaborations and innovation is actually the capability to exchange the information and data. So there are a lot of initiatives like here data space, like Catena X, Gaia X, and so on, where the companies and also research institute can exchange the data without violating the data privacy and IP. So perhaps these last slides, 2 slides. So we as academia and also diaspora, some of you, that we are, like especially the diaspora, is the access to the global network and global knowledge. And what is important here is that there is a term publish or perish. Now we need to also do partners or perish. So we need to collaborate, we need to have access to industry, and so on. Last slide. So if we want to move to this high-income country, we need to cross the bridge like this, from just adopting, imitating, and adopting, to innovating. Here is to reach the other side of the islands there, the other island. Not only the bridge, not only the technology that we need to have, but also the motivation, the mindset to shift, to move. Okay, and if you go here, we want to be, as innovator, we want to be a leader, in one of our field, in our field. But as illustrated here, how can the people here in the back can consider this race, can be the leader? So usually they need to make use of the curves. The overtakes happen in the curve. That means with the world with the high complexity, a lot of dynamics, a lot of changes, becoming a leader has a higher chance. As the last slide, so it's just from the Steve Jobs. Yeah? So innovation is actually the key. So it distinguishes between leader and follower. Okay, thank you. And if you have questions, you're welcome.
Thank you, Professor Hendro, for your speech. Next, Professor Aziz, time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Denny. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pak Denny, I'm standing here is fine, right? Okay. Okay, very good morning to all of you, and also my great pleasures to be invited today, and also I would like to deliver my great appreciations to all of the committee inviting me here, especially to BINUS University, Mr. George, also as the Vice President, Dr. Nally as the Rector, and also Prof. Chun as the Vice Rector, and also I'm not forgetting my diaspora boss, Professor Fatwa over years, and also all audience presenters joining these events. We have learned a lot from Prof. Hendro, so it is a time for having such kind of relaxing time, actually. So I just would like to have any, not explanation or descriptions, just introductions, actually. So probably I can deliver in about 10 or 15 minutes maximally. So, I'm Aziz from Tokyo University, and my background is mechanical engineering, but now I'm focusing on the energy systems, so I just would like to, probably I will also explain later. And see over here that Tokyo University is not the best university. Yeah, it is probably the oldest university in Japan, but now it's not the best university. So probably before 2010, until 2010, it was the best university in Asia, but now we are enjoying the declining period of the Tokyo University. And now we are adopting also the quarter system instead of semester, and also we have adopted any kind of like university bonds, although it is national corporate university, but also now we are opening for having any kind of like bond systems, etc. Okay. So our university is not really big, so we have about 28,000 students. Half of them are undergraduate and half of them are graduate levels. And I think that's much more smaller than BINUS University. And although we are not the best university, but as we could see over here is that we are quite happy with the number of Nobel laureates affiliated with us. We have about 13 Nobel laureates. And then also we have until 2023, we have about 480 startup companies, and now probably the number is reaching about 600 startup companies. And we are going to our laboratory. So in Japan, usually the principal investigator or professors, basically, he is the lab owners or lab head over here. So basically, the lab names is also the professor's names. But we have also the focus of the study. So my lab is basically dedicated for the energy and process integrations. And now we have about 16 to 17 students joining us, especially for the master and also PhD. So in case that you are having interest or joining us, I would like to open my hand for that. Then it is our research focus currently, because we are much more focusing on the mechanical engineering. But now actually because we are doing any research means that we are also collaborating, or we are also dealing with any kind of like chemical engineering, electrical engineering, environmental sciences. And we have over years for the energy modelings, including the steady state dynamics conditions, small scale and large scale. Small scale means that like power generators, chemical productions, or etc. For the large scales, including like the country, regions, as a Pacific regions, or etc. And then we are also developing any kind of like hydrogen productions. We call it as the chemical looping technology. So it means that we can produce any kind of fuels to hydrogens. At the same time, we also separate the CO2. So it means that we can have any kind of like CO2-free hydrogen production. And then we have also research related to the energy storage, especially for the metal hydride-based hydrogen storage. So we are developing any kind of like what we call as the triply periodic minimal service structures. Then we are also dealing with the research related with the SSB, solid state battery. But now our PhD students much more focusing on utilizing the machine learning or AI in this case to find the optimum combinations of the electrodes, anode, cathode, and also the electrolytes. Then we also move forward for the hydrogen utilizations, but because I am mechanical engineers, we are much more focusing on the combustion technology for that, because combusting hydrogen means that we are producing the water. The flames happens, but the problem is that we cannot see the flames color because it is ultraviolet, means that our bare eyes cannot detect in the flame itself, although it is very, very hot. And then we also working with the decarbonization in industrial sectors, including steel making, iron making, cement industries, chemical productions, or etc. And then we are also working for microstructures for any kind of like fuel cell electrolysis or etc. Then it is our big pictures. So the main idea in our research groups is much more focusing on the non-carbon based secondary energy resources. So we are much focusing on the electricity, hydrogen-based chemical energy, metal fuels, and also the heat. So it means that from the primary energy resources, how we can convert the primary to the secondary energy resources. And then we have several options for the secondary energy resources, and how actually, in case that we produce the electricity first, how we convert the electricity efficiently to the hydrogens or vice versa. And then finally, we are moving forward for the utilizations and also for the storage itself. Then our laboratory, basically labs is SME, as Prof. Hendra also mentions that. It is small scale, it's UMKM. So the professor is basically the CEO of the UMKM itself. So this is the concepts of the energy sustainability. Because the main topic is sustainability, so I also include this slide. That's a very simple reasons. So we have three different pillars in the energy. So these pillars is very important. And that the things, once we understand the pillars of energy, we can find or we can define the problems related with the energy itself, like for the energy security. And it's security probably until now, or in conventional definitions of the energy security, we are much more focusing on the quantity aspect of the energy security, how far the country or any kind of entity can deliver or can supply a sufficient energy that is demanded. But in the modern definitions of that, we are not only working for the quantity aspect of the energy, but also the quality aspect. And when we are talking about the quality, we are dealing with many problems, including the balancing services, the fluctuations, blah, blah, something like that. So that's the things that we need to explore further in the future. We have also the energy equity, means that we would like to include all the stakeholders. When we have any kind of renewable energy, I mean that's renewable energy is basically thinly, but it is widely distributed. So it means that we need to include all the stakeholders, although any kind of small scale stakeholders. It is very hard to build any kind of like large scale solar energy base or wind energy base or any kind of other oceans, blah, blah, something like that. So how far we can facilitate all the stakeholders to take part. So it means that we are also facing some problems with the uncertainties and other aspects. Then we are also facing problems with the environmental sustainability, not only with the CO2, but also probably with the NOx, SOx, and also any kind of water quality, food security, and activities. Then this is the big concepts that we have proposed to our ministry. The things when we are talking about the decarbonization in the future, and Indonesia has set up the goal for the carbon neutrality by 2060. The problem is not whether we can achieve 2060 carbon neutrality by 2060 or not. The answer is very clear. It is impossible. Yeah, it is impossible. Japan's committed to achieve by 2050. It is also impossible. But the main things over here is not the possibility to achieve, but the challenge is that how actually we can break down to any kind of milestone, to any kind of achievable, measurable, and also feasible milestones, like for 5 years, 10 years, or etc. Don't forget, like when we have experience, by 2025, we will have any 23% share of renewable energy. That's only a story. And the last year, 2024, the percentage of the renewable energy is only about 13%. How we can achieve, or we can add about another 10% in only in a single year, that's really impossible. The problem is that how we can have commitment over there. So the main idea over here is not only shifting to the renewable energy totally, but also we can consider that the fossil fuels or any kind of carbon-based fuel is basically also our investment, our potentials, our assets. So we can utilize this kind of fuels, this kind of resources. But the problem is that how actually we can deal with the responsibility to the emitted CO2 or any other emitters. So over years, the big things I think that we can do is that we can have any kind of CO2 reduction first. And while the cost for the CO2 captures can be reduced further, now currently for the DAC, direct air capture cost is about 200 to 150, or probably can achieve $300 per ton CO2. While for the concentrated CO2, we can utilize any kind of like amine-based separation technology, and the cost still about 20 to 30 US$ per ton CO2. While also, I think all of you also know that the carbon tax in our country is planned to be $2 per ton. So it means that there's a huge gap between the carbon penalty that we need to pay and also the cost to capture the CO2 itself. So the problem is that once we have any kind of competitive between the carbon penalty systems and also the cost for the capturing CO2, we are expecting that by any kind of like membrane technology for the carbon captures, we can reduce the cost to about $8 to $10 per ton CO2. And at that time, we expect that the penalty that we need to pay when we utilize any kind of fossil fuels-based fuels, probably it can be increased to 8 to 10. So it means that at that time, people can select wisely whether they would like to just emit the CO2, but need to pay for the CO2 penalty, tax, trading, blah, blah, something like that. Or otherwise, they also have options for using any kind of non-carbon-based fuels. Okay, then it is also another roadmap that we have also proposed to our ministry, ESDM, Ministry of Energy and also Mineral Resources. So as we could see over here, 2060 means that it is completely renewables. If you can imagine, until now, 2025, we have several coal-fired power plants just being constructed. Means that it is asset, it is investment. It is impossible to abandon this kind of assets in only 5 years, 10 years. It is really impossible. So the possible way is that, let this kind of power generators to run until 25, 30 years. Means that probably it can reach 2060 or 2070 with any kind of extensions. But the problem is that, as I mentioned, that how we can deal with any kind of emitted CO2 or other things. So in our scenario, it doesn't work. Okay, in our scenario, basically, we can have any kind of like carbon captures, probably non-carbon-based fuels utilizing hydrogens with any kind of like coal-firing technology, utilizing the ammonia for coal-firings, and also probably now, as we could see that electric vehicles also running now. You can imagine in like probably in 2030, 2035, the numbers of the electric vehicles increase to about 1 million, something like that. You can imagine in case that in 7 p.m. when all people are going back to home and they charge simultaneously at the same time, means that 10 kilowatt capacity of electricity will be multiplied by 1 million EVs. So the huge electricity is required at times, and there will be any kind of imbalances at the times. So electric vehicles will be the disaster at the times. But the electric vehicles also the opportunity means that we can control the charging, also discharging behavior. So in this case, also we provide any kind of possible for the vehicle to create integration, means that we can control the behavior of the charging and discharging of the electric vehicles, or we can provide any kind of new business scheme to the electric vehicle owners. We can have, because they can absorb the electricity, they can deliver back the electricity, means that it can deliver and different services, including frequency regulation, voltage regulations, load shifting, peak shaving, or etc. Many menus that is possible. Okay, 2 minutes. Then energy transition, I don't want to talk in detail about this one. Digital twins, this is some technologies for that, electric vehicles, etc. And this is the hydrogens, because we are much more focusing on the hydrogen, and now we are also working with the ESDM, Prof. Enia also. And as we could see over years that our focus is not utilizing the hydrogen for the transportations. That's the big mistake. The big demands for the hydrogen itself basically is, written back over years, is basically for the power generators, and then for industrial, including like steel making, iron making, cement industry, etc. And then the third ones will be the transportations. The transportation is also no need to be competed together with the electric vehicles. Electric vehicles will be the winner for the passenger car for the small scale. But the hydrogen, because it has very high gravimetric energy density, means that they can allocate them for any kind of like airplanes, ship, train, or asset. Then we have also, this is the concept for the hydrogen utilization in steel making, because it is reducing agents. It is not only providing the energy, but also as the reductions, reducing agents. This is the price of the hydrogens. The problems, the price is still high, but we need to reduce that. We need to reduce that. The problem is that how we can compete with any kind of fossil fuels. So it means that we probably can need any kind of other schemes for the carbon tax or etc. Then we have also set up any kind of goals, any kind of projection for the hydrogen Indonesian case, actually, and this is some things. In rest 1 minute, I just would like to underline the importance of the collaborations. Okay, so this is the possible collaboration that we have done now with some Indonesian partners, including visiting programs, collaborative research programs, student exchange, and researcher exchange, something like that. We have also now a big project in Indonesia for 5 years. It is fully funded by Japanese government, JICA, and also GST. And the total funding is about 60 million rupiah. So it means that it is about 60 billion rupiah. So again, it is for the decarbonizing the power plant. So we are adopting this kind of algae for capturing the CO2, and then utilizing the algae for the fuels. Means that the algae can be converted to the hydrogens, to the ammonia, and then ammonia can be recirculated back to the power generator. So it means that we can create any kind of carbon recirculations in the power generations. And then this is some project that I'm the team leaders, green hydrogen productions, and also co-firing technology. So we are also adopting the co-firing technology in Indonesia. We are working together with the Jawa Power and the Pythons near to Surabaya. And also we have, I think we are the first team to set up any kind of like roadmap for the hydrogen in Indonesia. It was in 2023. Now Prof. Enia is the General Director of the Renewable Energy. And then it is also very important. I mean that I need to talk to all the my colleagues from diaspora actually. So building the satellite laboratory is also very important. So I have 2 different satellite laboratories in Indonesia. One's in ITB and also one in Britain. So you can imagine that sometimes I and also my students are bringing this kind of stuff. Okay. So because purchasing or doing research in Indonesia is very expensive. That's the things that we need to understand together. In case that we purchase this one in Japan, the cost is only 1/3. And although we pay for the ticket, air ticket, that's probably maximally still half of the price when we buy in the Indonesia. So we need to like have any kind of idea, purchasing in Japan, and then we probably can do any kind of like custom clearance, blah, blah, something like that, and then we deliver it to the Indonesia. It is my last slide actually. So collaboration is very important. So as the researchers, finally, our focus in first on the collaborations, idea, how we can handle not only the fundings, not only the money, but also the resources, ideas, collaboration is very important. Okay, so finally we can amplify our outcomes together. Okay, and in Japanese case, we have 3 different keywords: join, collaboration, and what was the most important point for the collaboration is not the collaboration itself, but co-creations. Means that co-creation, we can have any kind of mutual collaboration itself, so we can not only waiting others to give our benefits, but actually we can initiate how actually we can be functional to others. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Denny, for the time. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
It is heavy material to talk in 10 minutes, Prof. I know, but time is limited. It's okay. Thank you, Prof. Aziz. Next, Dr. Steen, stage is yours.
Waiting for my presentation to...
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Good morning, distinguished guests. Dr. Nelly, President of BINUS Higher Education, Prof. Junaiman of RTT without O, and Director of Campus of Alam Sutera, I think, yeah, and the Director of Fidi, right? And maybe I forget someone. I'm sorry if I forget. I first of all want to apologize because it happens that today my son has his first communion. So after I will go to Jakarta because I have to go to Block Key to go to my son's first communion. So I'm very sorry that I have to be rude, but I hope I get your permission. Today I will talk about disruption. According to Oxford Dictionary, disruption has 2 meanings. Yeah? It's a situation in which it is difficult for something to continue in the normal way, or the act of stopping something from continuing in the normal way. A second definition has to do with market. Yeah? It's the significant change to an industry or market due to innovation in technology. Well, technological progress has always brought significant changes. And often these changes are a source of worries and anxiety within society. Yeah. At the mid of the 19th century, at the start of industrialization, Charles Dickens already wrote about the impact of industrialization on urban communities. Hard times. In his monumental work, Hard Times, Dickens indeed describes how social life was disrupted in industrial towns. Such societal changes caused by innovation are called societal or social disruption. I will call it this way. The second definition of market disruption has its source in economic analysis. Here, disruption does not mean technology's impact on society, but changes in market dynamics caused by technological innovation. Perhaps the following device. The case of Kodak shows how technological innovations disrupted the market position of the leading company in photography at the time. Yeah. Too late, Kodak acknowledged the potential of digital photography. And as a result, it lost its leading position in the market. It's a clear example of market disruption. Now I turn to my own legal field. How are technological disruption and the field of law connected? Well, in recent years, with the rise of artificial intelligence, an increasing number of scholars have signaled that traditional laws are no longer sufficient to regulate AI, and therefore the legal field is disrupted. Thus, the term legal disruption was invented. Legal disruption refers to a situation in which traditional legal norms no longer suffice to regulate the new technology. Legal disruption can be direct and indirect from the perspective of law. Yeah? Direct disruption of legal concepts means that traditional legal concepts are no longer applicable or must be applied in a different way. One issue, for instance, is who is liable when accidents happen with self-driving cars? Yeah? Is it the person who drives? Is it the company? It's a question that has been answered in court already, but it's not one answer yet, not a clear answer yet. Indirect disruption is a situation in which societal disruption caused by innovative technologies is taken into consideration by lawyers. So, we want to mitigate the effects of the disruption by new regulations or new policies. Yeah. So, this is an example of direct legal disruption. Yeah? Who is liable when a self-driving car crashes? The driver, when he's not paying attention, the company that developed the cars, or both? Well, usually it's based on the fault principle, right? So who is at fault? That's the one who is responsible. But with self-driving cars, I as a driver can argue that the car should have intervened, right? And in the case of Tesla, the judge indeed decided that Tesla, even when the driver himself acknowledged that he was not fully paying attention, that Tesla was liable. And then, hence, he had to pay a very large amount of money. This actually is an example how legal decisions can cause disruption. Because this legal decision will disrupt the development of self-driving cars, potentially, right? An example of indirect legal disruption is when societal disruption requires legislative action, so new laws. Yeah? It's the second example. Yeah? For instance, if the government wants to counter a stream of fake news made possible by new technologies and social media, it's an indirect, it influences the legal field, but not legal concept itself. Jeroen Hopster, a Dutch researcher in Tilburg, has underlined that it's important to differentiate between different levels of disruption, to analyze when and whether interventions are necessary. So when do we need new laws? When do we need new regulations? He differentiates between, first-order disruption, which mainly concerns market disruptions caused by new technology. The second-order disruption, which concerns broad disruptions within society. Perhaps you could say that the rise of social media is a second-order disruption. And then you have deep disruption, by which is meant disruptions that challenge or change ethical concepts and have the capacity of fundamentally remake our society and ourselves. It's a more philosophical concept. For instance, you could say that the AI law in the European Union is based on this concept of deep disruption. They considered that if we let AI unregulated or self-regulated by the markets. The European Union thought that there are some fundamental principles of privacy, of the right not to be surveyed all the time and so on. So they believed that it was necessary to make new regulations. Other countries think differently. They still believe that the market can self-regulate this. So it's also, there are different opinions about this. Now, I have built, based on Jeroen Hopster's and another Dutch scholar, Guido Leur's, analytical frameworks on disruption, and built the following analytical framework which we can use to analyze whether and what type of interventions may be necessary in case a new technology or AI has negative impacts, societal impacts, or perhaps, like in the case of the self-driving car, there are issues with existing legal concepts that can no longer be applied in a similar way as previously. Yeah. So the framework underlines how multidisciplinary research, empirical research on disruptive effects can inform us about the level of disruption and potential solutions. Can the issues be solved simply with technical solutions? Do we need self-regulation? Or is legislative intervention necessary? Those are the questions. Yeah? And it starts with the idea, because I'm a legal researcher, I start with legal concepts, that there's potentially a disrupted legal concept. Subsequently, I identify whether they are directly or indirectly impacted by artificial intelligence systems. Yeah. When we say there is disruption, we have to look first at the disruptor. The disruptor is the AI system. Yeah? So we analyze the AI system that causes the disruption. Then we need expertise. We need different expertise, not legal expertise. We need specialists in the field to see how the AI system works and what causes this disruptive process, if it is caused by the AI system itself, and propose technological solutions if possible. So we don't immediately regulate, but we look first, are there technological solutions possible, right? Then we look at the level of disruption, what I call the breadth and depth of the disruption. Yeah. We examine with stakeholders and also segments of whether stakeholders and segments of societies are involved and whether there are wider technological, social, economic, effects and disruptions. Then we can analyze the depth of the disruption by its impact on fundamental social concepts and values. Subsequently, we analyze whether this disruption can be considered a concern to public interest. If it's a concern of public interest, the government can intervene by making regulation. Also the possibility death.
Dr. Steen, you have 2 more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also the possibility of self-regulation, that the government decides this can be solved with self-regulation. Finally, if legal intervention are necessary, then we have to look how can we as lawyers solve this problem. Yeah? We could make totally new regulations with new legal concepts to tackle the disruption. But it's also possible to select existing legal concepts and make it applicable to new situations, or making exceptions. Yeah, that's, it's actually the way how lawyers make regulations. Yeah? Make an exception by declaring a concept not applicable, for instance. How many time do I have? 1 minute? Okay. Now, very short, an example, for instance, automated decision making. Is this applicable in the courts? The issue is often the black box problem. We don't know how AI exactly makes its decision. We don't know the code, we don't understand the code. This is incompatible with the principle that judges must base decisions on sound legal justifications. We don't know the justifications of AI. That's an issue. So there is a concept that is disrupted. Now, actually, a technical solution could be that we provide a legal justification, but afterwards. So we make AI make a decision first, and then we have a prompt. Can you justify this decision? And then, and actually, although judges don't always admit it, it's how a lot of judges work. They instinctively already know what they're going to decide, and then make a legal justification of it, right? So, however, if too much automated decisions in the courtroom, yeah, if we too much use of automated decisions in courtrooms may not be accepted within society, because persons feel the right that they have the right to be heard by a person, right, by a judge, and they maybe think. Psychologically, they feel that they don't have a due process if a machine is making the decision. And this will maybe create distrust in the legal system, right? And it's a fundamental issue. It's actually one of the deeper disruptions, right? Now, a solution could be that we just regulate when and when not will we make use of automated decision-making? Only in simple cases, in complex cases, or sensitive cases in which a lot of emotions play a role, or cultural issues, or things like this. We only use it as a tool, but the judge is still the one who is present in the courtroom and who will hear the parties, right? Yeah, with this example, I will end my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and sorry that I will have to leave now.
Thank you, Dr. Steen. The last one is Dr. Sundaresan. Please, the stage is yours. You have around 10 minutes maximum, Dr. Sundaresan. I will remind you the time before.
Okay, hello. Yeah. Okay, so I would like to start with Salamat Siang to everyone, respected leaders, fellow members, organizing committee, as well as our audience members. Thank you for this opportunity. So, can we have the slides? Sorry, can we have the slides?
Moment. Okay, we will break the session for Dr. Steen. Please give applause. Okay, thank you, Dr. Steen. Okay, thank you, Dr. Steen. Thank you, Dr. Sundaresan.
Yeah.
You can
thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity and giving me the time. So I'll try to keep this brief. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Jitin Sundaresan. I work in BINUS University International FX Anion campus. So I'm associated with Business Information Systems program here in BINUS. My background is in mechanical engineering, specifically manufacturing. So once I joined BINUS, I have been actively trying to work with our other faculty members and collaborate in the two worlds, like in the world of IS as well as the world of manufacturing. So one of our collaborations was, awarded with a PIB project by BINUS. We had an international collaboration with a reputed university, IITDM Kanchipuram in India. So today I'll discuss some outcomes from that collaboration, as well as why Indonesia must embrace sustainable manufacturing and how IoT, a key technology in this digital world, how it can help. So these are my contents. I'll go through it. So first, coming to one of the quotes by UN, sustainability is meeting the needs of present without compromising ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So basically, the idea comes down to this. So we, as leaders or workers of today, has to think about our future generation, not just one generation, but many generations to come. So we have to utilize resources, keeping that in mind. We should not leave the world worse place than we have received, but actually we should try to make it much better place than when we came. So why specifically manufacturing matters? Because you would have heard the term manufacturing, not even by consciously listening, you would have heard it at many places, because you would have heard the term that manufacturing is the backbone of the country. Every country has to have a good manufacturing environment for its development. So even if you take the case of countries like South Korea, China, etc., they have came out of different hardships through focusing on their manufacturing industry. So once they became leaders in that, then they became so prosperous in the world. So even if you come to the case of Indonesia, 14% of all the jobs here in Indonesia are in this sector. And it also contributes a lot in the case of society here. And it also added a lot in case of value, which means, suppose just consider the case of your mobile phone. I mean, in case of just the raw materials, plastic or metals, or all those things in your hand does not have your value. But once it is made into that particular component and you have all your capabilities connecting to internet, it offers you so much value. It increases your productivity manyfold. Coming to one important quote by Henry Ford, efficient industry is the sole key to prosperity. And we can say that even today, this quote is very valuable in our society. So if you can see this world map, how much percentage each country GDP is from manufacturing. You can see that the countries which are now getting most developed or like that have a higher percentage of manufacturing in their GDP. And even Indonesia is standing at a good place with somewhere between 15 to 20%. But I would say that this needs to increase, but also keeping in mind sustainable practices. Otherwise, as you know, even in Jakarta, the pollution is very bad, and some of the people, it gets troublesome. Even when my wife was here, she had some breathing problem due to it. So we have to work on this. So if you take specifically the case of Indonesia, almost 36% of energy consumption comes from manufacturing, and even in that, the large portion is from high energy intensity manufacturing industry, which means a large amount of energy is getting taken by the manufacturing sector. So you can see that manufacturing contributes a lot to your country, but the energy requirement is as well as large. And when the energy requirement is large, you need to produce electricity maybe through thermal power plants, etc., which further leads to higher carbon footprint pollution. So this sector, it's very, like, there is a huge opportunity to make it sustainable, reduce the energy consumption. So basically sustainable manufacturing is this. So when you are in the initial industrial revolution or in the initial industries, this was not given much importance to. The importance was given to making the particular product, finding processes to make the particular product. But now it is important that it needs to be environmentally friendly. The wastage should be reduced. You might have seen some polluted rivers. Those issues need to be sorted out. Economic issues, again, there, like lot of money in terms of even energy goes into this. So that needs to be improved. And then social. So sometimes the health and other issues of the workers are not taken into consideration. So all of this need to be taken into account in sustainable manufacturing. Okay. So in Indonesia, as we discussed, almost 18% of GDP comes from manufacturing. Then near 30% of overall emissions is attributed to this particular sector. It's very energy intensive, so there's a need to balance growth with sustainability in this particular sector, so that Dr. Aziz also mentioned about Indonesia's net zero 2060 goals. So even if that's not very achievable, but still we have to work in that direction. So, okay, another quote by this Chinese president. So innovation is the lifeblood of manufacturing, which means mastering core technologies in key field. So innovation comes to any country, a large part of it is through manufacturing. Okay, and here to achieve sustainable manufacturing, we try to incorporate IoT. There are actually many ways in which we can achieve sustainable manufacturing. Maybe in local levels, we have conducted many community developments for local SMEs. We have advised those family-owned businesses, maybe they can use some biodegradable packaging instead of plastic packaging, all to contribute towards this. So many of that is still there, but in our specific case, I am discussing incorporation of IoT. So I will not go too much into the technicality, but just say that IoT is where you basically connect any kind of device you have with a sensor and then connect to the internet, so that every device can talk to each other, get feedback, and act accordingly. So basically, suppose you have a coffee maker and you connect it to internet into the IoT ecosystem, and maybe you can connect your, every day you maybe set an alarm clock at a different time, and you have a habit of drinking drinking coffee at that time. So you can make the setup so that your alarm clock is, and the time of your alarm clock is synced with your coffee maker, so that when your alarm rings, the coffee maker also makes you coffee, so that you can start your day better. So those kind of technology come under IoT. 5 minutes, okay. So yeah, it can contribute in many sectors like smart houses, even in offering traffic, or as you say, macet is a big problem in Indonesia. So, especially Jakarta. So we can use these technologies to improve traffic and flow of vehicles. So all of this comes under application of IoT. So we can take a collaboration between these two technologies, IoT and manufacturing, to ensure sustainability. So now why it is very specifically important in case of biosphere harmony is because when you achieve sustainability in manufacturing, you can greatly reduce ecological footprint. You have seen how much energy it consumes and how much pollution it causes. Then circular economy practices you can implement, you can reduce wastage, then you can achieve higher efficiency. So higher efficiency would mean better production. So you can make more products from the same amount of maybe energy and manpower you have in your company. Then societal and global alignment. So now major countries as well as companies are trying to align to this United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So even in a societal way, this contributes greatly. So this is one of our works here in BINUS University International in collaboration with two international universities, IIITDM Kanchipuram and NIT Trichy. Okay. So I'll just rush through it. So in this work, we had taken use of manufacturing data, which is time series based. So this kind of a sensor takes manufacturing data at real time. So every 10 microseconds, it takes on the data. So we used it to process and separate some feature extraction, and we use some ML models, machine learning models, to train it and do some form of segmentation and give us some smart data insights, which would mean that, okay, this is the process, and we used different ML models. So when manufacturing happens, the machine which you are using is not continuously working in one particular state. Different kinds of operation happens. So once you collect the data, you have to properly identify, okay, this particular kind of a waveform would mean this operation is happening, this particular waveform will mean this particular operation is happening. Then only you can control. So first step would be properly identifying and properly segmenting what is happening with the machine. So we have tried a ML approach with different ML models, and we developed a hybrid model which gave better segmentation of this data. Then this is one case study here in Indonesia. So as you know, like Telkomsel have started an IoT smart manufacturing branch. So they have collaborated with one brake manufacturing company known as PT Akebono. And this company had many issues with energy costs, improved customer expectations. Okay, one moment. So with, when you combine with Telkomsel's IoT ecosystem, they were able to get proper information about where their different inventory materials are in real time. They used RFID devices to get this information. So this information greatly improves the material flow and logistic of this particular company. Okay. Then there are many challenges when you try to achieve sustainable manufacturing. It's that the initial upfront costs are high because you have to incorporate a new technology. You have SMEs, I mean, you know, SMEs are the backbone of Indonesia, and asking them to incorporate this much heavy upfront cost at the start is very difficult. Then technology gaps are there. Workforce readiness is also another issue because they have to be again trained in new skills. So all of these are some challenges which I think could be achieved through some of the collaborations. Okay, before going to that, I would like to also mention that these three SDGs are heavily being this work on sustainable manufacturing heavily contributes to these SDGs. Working on these challenges, we require industry, academy, and government collaborations. So I think we need to focus more on this particular research in our universities like BINUS University. And yeah, so mainly that's it. Thank you for the time. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Sundaresan, for the speech. Before we go to the next session, please, timekeeper, how many time we have to? Okay, we have around 25 minutes. Now, let's open the floor for a question. Please keep your question short and directed to the specific speaker. I will give the first 3 questions, please. Yes, 1, second, and third. Third question, please. First question.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for the time. My name is Rifki from PI, representative of Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia. I would like to ask 2 speakers. First, for Professor Hendro, I'm seeing that in your presentation that 70 until 80% of the funding for research and development in Germany coming from the private sector. And is there any regulation in the government of the Germany that instruct the private sector to provide the funding for the innovator? Like Indonesia, is it can be really realized, or what's the challenge for Indonesia? I think PI also needs to fill the gap, between the innovator and also the funders or the funding. And the second question I would like to ask for Professor Aziz, that we have seen that currently Indonesia adopt the electric car recently in the big city, as you mentioned before, that if the balance between the power source and the electrical consumption from the vehicle can be realized, it will be a disaster. And another disaster will be the use of the broken battery is also harmful for the environment. What you suggest for Indonesia in smoothing the electrification and reducing the carbon in all these issues, even with the hydrogen utilization, is far from the implementation now? So that's my question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Pak Rifki. The second question, please. Second question. Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Agustinus Robert Uria. I just come back from Japan. I work at Hokkaido University as a lecturer there. So my question specifically addressed to Professor Aziz. Thank you for the interesting talk. As you described before, that microalgae is, can be used to capture carbon dioxide in order to produce biohydrogens. I think that's promising clean energy in the future. And I want to know your opinions, what the major challenge in developing or application of microalgae for production of biohydrogens, and how to solve the problems. And also, for microalgae, so besides the applications can be, how to say, directed to produce biohydrogens, carbon dioxide also can be captured in order to produce other things like bioproducts, for example, pigment that can be used for health. Do you have, how to say, direction for this kind of research? Yeah, this is only my questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pak Agustinus. The last one, please. Yes.
Yep, thank you so much. My name is Friza, and I'm a master's student at University of Melbourne, majoring in Energy System Mechanical Engineering Department. So I would like to ask Prof. Aziz about your presentation, and thank you so much for your amazing presentation. I have two kind of questions. The first one is about hydrogen. So on your proposed roadmap, you say that hydrogen will coming online to the market by 2030 in Indonesia, right? And then the levelized cost of hydrogen is still very, very high in Indonesia. And in your opinion, what kind of things or strategy that we can reduce levelized cost of hydrogen in Indonesian context? And second question is about open electricity market in your roadmap, because like you are proposing open electricity market in Indonesia. So what definition of the open electricity market that you means? Is it like energy only market, capacity investment, or what kind of things? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. So I give Prof. Hendro first a chance to answer the question.
Hello, thank you, Pak Rifki, for the question. So basically, research is high risk. So that means you cannot allocate time of your daily business only to do research. So therefore, the big companies usually they already settled. So they have their own R&D departments and also resources to do research, because for them research is creating new technology, creating new market, and also creating new competitive advantages. The question is now is, what about the weaker companies like SMEs? So the key of this the concept in Germany is actually the sharing, the risk sharing. So government give funding to the smaller companies. So, but not full funding, just 50%. Let's say a company wants to build AI systems for optimizing the use of electricity, for example, in the production scheduling or manufacturing, for example. And for that, this small company need to have to spend 100,000 euros, for example. And the government give 50% of funding, so that means subsidies, like 50,000, and the rest of 50,000 need to be from their own pocket. And furthermore, university can support this research too. So that means the university here will be paid by the government as well, and also, allocate resource to help doing research in the company. So that means this majority is like 70%, including this 50% part of the company spending, yeah, for the SMEs, and also the internal research spending in the bigger companies. So that's. Is this answering your question somehow?
Yeah. Yeah. Any regulation from the government that instruct the companies that they should like 5% for them to fill the R&D division or something, or just flowing that their own company just running their own R&D?
Yeah, special regulation is not there. Actually, I mean, research is for the bigger company is a need to increase the competitive advantage. So they don't have to be forced to do the research. But the government stimulate the smaller companies to do research by minimizing or helping them to minimize the risk of the research, which is by giving funding and adding universities, for example, or research institutions as a collaborator. So that's actually, there's no strict, that everyone has to be forced to do research. It's not like that, but just stimulating. Yeah, and also naturally, it's a competitive advantage.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hendro. Prof. Hendro,
Thank you very much for challenging questions. I state that I cannot satisfy all the questions in this case. Okay, the first question is related with the electric vehicles, the challenges for the electric vehicles. Yes, as we also discussed that, okay, the electricity problems, balancing problems, probably now is still fine because the number is still very small compared to the total capacity of the power generations. But the problem in case that it is increasing means that, and it is uncontrolled charging behaviors means that we will have any kind of disaster, probably blackout in our grid systems or etc. So the first thing that we need to do over here is that how far we can control this kind of charging, also discharging behaviors. The first massively manufactured electric vehicles, including Nissan Leaf. And Nissan Leaf was, I think initially massively produced in 2010, before Tesla, before that. And as we could see that these kind of electric vehicles basically have been facilitated, have been equipped with any kind of communication technologies. So all the, in Japan's, I don't know like in Indonesian case, but in Japan's, all the traveling history of the Nissan owners starting from 2010 was recorded. I got the data, though it is anonymous data. Means that all the EVs are basically equipped with any kind of communication capability. So we can consider EVs like our smartphones, having the large capacity of the battery and also the capability for the communications. And the battery itself is chargeable and also dischargeable. So it means that when we can adopt in this kind of technology, and we have also a project in Japan, also in Denmark, we have demonstrated the vehicle-to-grid technology in Denmark because Denmark is a very flat country, so it is very difficult to install any kind of like pump hydro for us large-scale energy storage. So finally, the initiative is that we would like to give any kind of incentive or encourage the citizens to purchase the electric vehicles, and then we create any kind of new business. So we can give, like in our case, we have 3 years project in Denmark until before COVID, and one owners of the EV can get like 1,500 euro per year passive income by joining this kind of services. So it is distributed energy services. So the second challenge is related, yes, with the battery itself. So electric vehicles was massively produced in 2010s, and we felt the problems after the battery, how about the waste of the battery, something like that. And now the discussion about the battery recycling just started in 2 years after 2010s. So some business started to try to having any kind of a battery recycle or etc. And so the big things that we can do over here is that how actually we can have much longer lifetime of the battery, and also the material selection for the battery. So in our research, now we are much more focusing on the solid-state battery instead of the liquid-based lithium battery. So the solid-state battery, usually it has longer lifetimes because, and also the capacity is basically much bigger because the conductivity of the electrolyte itself, because it is solid electrolyte, means that the conductivity also really much bigger, much higher than the liquid ones. So finally, we can have much more longer lifetime in this case. So, and also for the recycle, I think solid state battery is also much more easier compared to in the liquid one. So the problem is that for the technology itself is that, yeah, the technology concept is now is going on, and for the small scale it has been massively produced, especially in Japan, also China, as I heard. But the problem is that for the large scale, like for the small, like for the electric vehicles, because the problem with the solid state battery is that you can imagine electrodes, both electrodes, anode, and also cathode, and also the electrolyte in between are basically the solid one. Once there is any kind of like expansions due to charging, also discharging, means that the crack is potentially happens. So once the crack happens, means that the resistance increase significantly, and the conductivity reduce significantly. Means that at the times for the large scale, for the large capacity, usually because we have the cells to be arranged in serial and also in parallels to fulfill the required voltage and also capacity. Finally, once the cell has any kind of crack, means that the total battery also need to be changed because the capacity will be dropping down. So that's the challenge why finally for the large scale solid state battery is under development. Toyota planned by 2028 to massively produce the solid SSP based electric vehicles, but BYD, I think they also focus on that, and I think probably it will be competitive with the Toyota itself in this case. So that's about the technology. The problem is that how about the Indonesia in this case? So I think the recycle technology, the recycle business, and also how far we can develop much more longer lifetime of the battery, I think that's we need to initiate for that. And the next question is correlated with the algae. Yes, algae is potential in this case, but the problem is that the algae there are many challenges for the algae itself. I will talk about my experience for working with the algae, because we have also a project in Python near to Probolinggo, I think. We installed quite many photobioreactors over there, and we utilized the flue gas from the power generators as the feeding gas for the algae itself, and we utilized the microalgae instead of macroalgae. And there are many challenges. The first thing is that because it is flue gas, and it comes from combustions of the coal, means that it sometimes also consists of any kind of heavy metals, impurities, or etc. So it means that once the algae absorbs this kind of impurities, not only the CO2 but also probably some heavy metals, means that the utilizations of algae will be really limited. So I think we cannot imagine in case that we utilize the algae as the supplements, and while we are also eating any kind of heavy metals. So in our case, finally, we just utilize the algae for the fuels, which will be mixed together with the coal itself, whether it is converted first to hydrogens or it is directly fed as the solid fuels. And other challenges is many, because the cultivation is also very challenging. In our case, we are expecting to have 10% ratio for the coal-fired power plants using the algae. 10%, with 10%, we need area for the cultivations is about 100 hectares. So that's using photobioreactors, not with the raceways or any kind of open ponds. Using photobioreactors is basically much more effective compared to the open ponds or raceways in our experience. So in this case, we need about 100 hectares for the cultivations. That's also another challenge. Another challenge is also with the treatment after that, because the moisture is very high, and also for the macroalgae probably it's much better, but for the microalgae, because it is very small, so it means that we need to coagulate first before drying. So it means that that's also another challenge. We need to coagulate it. We need to get the solid one first, using any kind of coagulations, flocculations, or etc. Then we can dry after that using any kind of like thermal drying or etc. And for the hydrogen conversion is also another challenge also. But for the thermochemical conversion to hydrogen itself, we have established quite technologies, whether utilizing any kind of gasification technology, pyrolysis, or probably in our case, we adopt any kind of chemical looping technology. And the conversion efficiency is pretty high, about 60% in total. So I think that's pretty good for this case. And okay, then for the CO2 captures, there are some opportunities, not only utilizing this kind of bio CO2 captures, utilizing the algae or any kind of the plantations. We have in our idea, when we do any kind of research, when we have any kind of separated CO2, it is really better that not utilizing separated CO2 for any kind of like, a very short period lifetime of the CO2. What I mean is that don't convert the separated CO2 to any kind of fuels. Means because our effort to capture the CO2 will be released in very short time. So our idea is that once we have any kind of captured CO2, it's really better. Because storing CO2 is very challenging. Until now, although some countries, developed countries like Japan, United States, we have any kind of like geological storage demonstration. But until now, we cannot guarantee that geological storage of the CO2 will be stable for about 100 years. 10,000 years, 1 million years in the future. So there is no conclusion at all. So finally, after 2010, the trends for the carbon capture is not on the carbon capture and storage, CCS, but it moved forward for the carbon capture utilization and storage. So for the utilizations, I recommend for longer lifetime of the CO2. So in our study also, we materialized the CO2 over years. So the captured CO2 is then probably can be converted to the methanol. Methanol can be olefin, then we can convert olefin to any kind of plastic products or etc. Means that the lifetime of the captured CO2 will be much longer. Or we can also convert to any kind of like concrete materials because the CO2 also can be carbonates, so we can create the carbonates for that. And the last question is correlated with the hydrogen cost. Okay, hydrogen for the renewable hydrogen is very, very costly. For your information is that for the conventional hydrogen which is produced from the natural gas, the price is about 1.5, 1.7 US dollar per kilogram hydrogens. But for the renewable one, it really depends on the resources and also the process that is utilized to convert the hydrogens. Basically, the lowest price of the renewable hydrogen over here is still 2.5 US dollar per kilograms. So it means that it's about double of the conventional one. So the most important, I think the easiest way to, because to reduce the cost further is really, really challenging. And I think finally, as I mentioned also, we need to combine together with the CO2 penalty over years. So in case you can imagine, in case that we utilize the hydrogen from the conventional natural gas with the cost of the 1.7 US dollar per kilogram, but we need to pay the CO2 tax additionally, like 0.5 or 0.6 US dollar per kilogram, means that at that time the final price, in case that you utilize the hydrogen from the conventional process from the natural gas, means that's still also about 2.5 or 3 US dollar per kilogram, means that it is quite competitive compared to the renewable hydrogens. Yeah, we still have, because the problem with the hydrogen is not only the productions, also the storage and also transportation, because hydrogen is the lightest materials, means that the volumetric energy density of the hydrogen is very low. Although it is gravimetric energy density is the highest. It is 120 megajoule per kilograms. But for the volumetric energy density, it is only 3 watt-hour per liters. Means that it is very, very low in terms of the volumetric. So what we need is that we need to have any kind of efficient hydrogen storage, including compressions, liquefaction, liquefactions and also any kind of hydride or etc. But you can imagine for the liquefactions, minus 253 degrees Celsius, which is really challenging. It's not only for the liquefactions, but to maintain the temperature itself is very challenging. So sometimes the cost for the transportations, when we imagine like transporting the hydrogen from Australia to Japan, is quite similar to the production of hydrogen itself. So finally, the final price in case that we produce the hydrogen from Australia and transport to Japan, finally the cost is about $4 per kilograms. So there are many challenges actually. So I think the easiest way to reduce the hydrogen, especially for the renewable hydrogen, is first thing is establishing the CO2 price. So in case that we can have any CO2 penalty systems, mechanisms over there, finally we can have much more competitive price for the renewable hydrogens. And the last question is related to the open electricity market. What I mean with the open electricity market is that it is correlated with the energy equity. It means that all the stakeholders can participate over there. So not only purchasing, not only to be consumers of the grid or any kind of power generators, but also we can be any kind of producers. So the concept over here is the prosumer, producers and also consumer at the same time. So we are not only delivering the energy, whether in case that in our homes probably we have any kind of like PV or wind turbine or etc. Probably we can generate the electricity to the grid. I think that's the conventional one, that's the easiest possibility. Another possibility is that we have any kind of energy storage, including also the EV in our homes. In case that the EV is not used, it's not in driving mode, then it is connected to our homes, to the chargers at the homes, at the office, at the shopping mall, something like that. As long as we have any kind of contract with the operators, like the aggregators in this case, finally we can do any kind of business at the times. So this kind of idle mode for the energy storage and also for any kind of services, I think this is very, very, very important. So that's the concept of the open market. So what happens in the Scandinavian country is that usually for the open market, we can do any kind of bidding service. So in one day before the day itself, like usually in Denmark itself, they have open market bidding systems. So someone who has the capacity of 300 kilowatt, minimally 300 kilowatt capacity, including the cars, including everything like the office, everything, they can join the bidding systems. Until 5 p.m. before the day, they can, like tomorrow, the PLN or any kind of energy providers, they map the potential for the renewable energy, the requirements for the energy storage, and also the surplus of the energy. Because you can imagine Denmark has 150% of the renewable energy compared to the demands. Means that the surplus of the electricity is, it can be imagined. I mean, it can be figured out before that. So the prediction is very important over there. So finally people can know, probably next day, on the next day, like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., 10 a.m., something like that, there will be any kind of surplus electricity. So PLN or energy providers can, someone who would like to join the marketplace. So they, until 5 p.m., finally, any stakeholders, they can put their numbers over there, the capacity and also the quantity. Capacity over here is the wattage, and while the quantity is watt hour. So that's two numbers that's very important, and also the duration itself. So the cost finally will be defined after that. And sometimes, as I mentioned, that for the electricity, it is not only the capacity base, but it is sometimes quality base. Quality-based service is very much more expensive. Like for the capacity, I think it's okay. Like in the Indonesian case, I think 1 kilowatt hours probably 1,000 Indonesian rupiah probably, right? So probably 10 cents US dollar, something like that. But in terms of the quality market, like in case that, now there's any kind of imbalances in the grid because of the surplus of the PV or probably the surge demands from the demand side or any kind of something like that or other phenomenon, finally the price at that time can reach about 10 times to 100 times. So by purchasing or by joining this kind of services, finally people can get any kind of benefits over there. Yeah, that's the general definition of the open market. Thank you very much for your questions.
Okay, thank you, Professor Aziz. To the participant, due to the time limitation, I should sorry for you, but before we end this session, I will give one question for BINUS student ambassador. So please give your question, keep it short and directed to the specific speaker.
Good afternoon, dear keynote speakers. My name is Jonathan Edward Salamanua from BINUS School of Engineering, majoring in Automotive and Robotics Engineering. And I have a question for Mr. Jitin. In the context of sustainability, we often hear about high upfront cost, SME limitation, and policy misalignment as recurring challenge. From your perspective, which of these factors constitutes the most critical bottleneck in advancing AI and IoT adoption for sustainability, and where should investment be prioritized first, whether it was in technological infrastructure, human capacity and capability, or policy frameworks, especially for developing countries such as here in Indonesia? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Can you once repeat it, because there was you are asking me 2-3 things, so I just did not quote it.
Where should investment be prioritized?
Okay.
Technological infrastructure, or human capacity and capability, or policy frameworks?
Okay. Yes. So I would believe specifically in case of Indonesia, there should be some policy frameworks, of course, because otherwise, the small and medium enterprises are not incentivized to make this change. So, of course, the first step would be some kind of policy change or new policies which can benefit them towards this. You can, there is a concept of carbon credits you might have heard, like you can basically, depending on how much carbon emission you are allowed to do in your company, if you are producing less than that, you can even sell to other people for money. So those things are there. So of course, first thing is policy change. Then there needs to be skill improvement in manpower, because again, when you are coming to small scale industries, currently they are not equipped with that. So always there will be a small resistance to change, because after you are trained and you are left your maybe training age, there will be a resistance or a difficulty in getting new skills. So that kind of training program should be promoted. And one thing I see which is very good here in Indonesia is that all the universities do some kind of community development. So we go into the community, we try to transfer our knowledge in a best way they can make use. So those things, this is also already there, but if it can be more focused, more specific, and we are given some more incentive from government to promote that, then that would be good. So those are my ideas on this. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, give it applause. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of today's session, one thing stand out clearly, that we need not just innovation but collaboration. Thank you for our distinguished speakers, and thank you for the audience for being part of this conversation. I will give it back time to MC, please.
Thank you very much to our moderator and keynote speakers for the insightful discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them another warm round of applause. Before we conclude the plenary session, it is now our honor to present a token of gratitude to our keynote speakers and moderator in appreciation of their valuable contributions.
May we kindly invite all keynote speakers and our moderator to rise as we present the tokens of appreciation. we invite the chair of Icobar 2025, Mrs. Hilda Farida, to present a token of appreciation to our moderator, Dr. Julius Deni Prabowo. To Dr. Julius, please step forward. Next, we would like to invite the Vice President of BINUS Higher Education and Professional Services, Mr. George Wijaya Hadipuspito, to present a token of appreciation to Professor Hendro Wicaksono. To Professor Hendro, please step forward.
Next, we invite our beloved rector of BINUS University, Dr. Nelly, to present a token of appreciation, accompanied by the Vice Rector of Technological Transfer, Prof. Juneman, to present a token of appreciation to Prof. Aziz. To Prof. Aziz, please step forward. Following that, we invite the chairman of the Indonesian International Scientists Association, I4, Dr. Fatwa Firdaus Abdi, to present a token of appreciation. To Dr. Jitin Sundarsan. To Dr. Jitin, please step forward.
To our distinguished invited parties, please remain on stage. To our camera crew and documentation team, we would like to invite you to capture this inspiring moment together. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3.
To all invited distinguished parties, you may return to your seats, but first, let's give them the warmest applause.
Maaf ya, sepuh saya.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give another warm round of applause to our distinguished keynote speakers and moderator, as well as to our honored presenters for this meaningful moment. With this, we officially conclude the morning program in the main auditorium. The session that follow will be open to all participants this afternoon, held in parallel rooms according to the conference schedule. The time and location details can be found on the presentation currently displayed on the screen.
This afternoon's agenda includes the first one, Icobar paper presentation, a session where you might explore the latest research findings from Indonesian scientists across the world. Second one, poster presentation, another opportunity to engage with the recent research and visual representations from Indonesian scholars worldwide. And the last but not least, Fidi Research Lightning Talk, a parallel session in which scientists present their research and poster in brief presentations according to their respective fields of study.
A short reminder for Icobar presenters, before the afternoon sessions begin, please gather in the informed room for further coordination.
For the VIP and the invited parties, we will hold the gala dinner event at 6 p.m. at the atrium first floor. Ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of our program in this auditorium. On behalf of the committee, we thank you for your attention and participation this morning.
We wish you an enjoyable break and see you in the parallel session starting from 12:30 p.m. for the continuation of Icobar Fidi Joint Forum 2025. Thank you and have a great afternoon.